Hello students, I welcome you all to another lecture of biology, and in this class we are going to discuss about corpus luteum. So what is corpus luteum, how it is formed, where it is formed, and what are the functions of corpus luteum, we are going to discuss here in detail. So let us begin with the ovulation. What is ovulation? As I have discussed earlier that ovulation is the process of release of secondary oocyte along with the corona radiata layer out of the ovary into the fallopian tube, and it occurs on the day of 14th. In a regularly menstruating female whose duration of menstrual cycle is 28 days, then only the ovulation will occur on the day of 14th. Otherwise, depending on the duration of menstrual cycle, the ovulation day also varies. And after ovulation only the corpus luteum formation begins. So, I have already drawn a diagram of ovulation. Ovulation has already occurred from the mature Graafian follicle under the influence of LH hormone, luteinizing hormone, which is secreted from the anterior lobe of pituitary gland, influences the Graafian follicle to rupture and ovulate. As a result, what happens? After rupture of the Graafian follicle, the secondary oocyte is released into the xylem, or that is the peritoneum, and from peritoneum it is taken up with the help of fimbriae into the fallopian tube. So this mass, it is the secondary oocyte and the corona radiata layer is now inside the fallopian tube and ovulation has occurred. So this is ovulation. So soon after releasing the secondary oocyte, what happens to the rest part of the follicle? Soon after releasing it, the ruptured wall is closed and it is filled with blood. The mass is now filled with blood, and the mass is called now corpus hemorrhagicum. This mass is now called corpus hemorrhagicum. Hemorrhage means bleeding. So as there is bleeding into this body of follicle, that is why it is called corpus hemorrhagicum. So soon after the formation of corpus hemorrhagicum, what happens? The blood cells here are digested by the phagocytic cells and removed, and there is rapid proliferation of granulosa cells. And also one more important event occurs, there is carotenoid or carotenoids concentrated or accumulated inside the granulosa cells and thecal cells. Mainly a yellow color pigment called lutein is deposited in high amount inside the granulosa cells and thecal cells. So the body appears yellow in color. So there is rapid multiplication of granulosa cells. There are thecal cells also, but the major change occurs here is deposition of a yellow color substance called lutein. So now after deposition of lutein, the thecal and granulosa cells are called as lutein cells or luteal cells, and the body is called corpus luteum. Corpus luteum, and it appears yellow. Yellow color. The thecal cells are small luteal cells and granulosa cells are large luteal cells due to the deposition of high amount of lutein inside them. And this process of formation of corpus luteum from corpus hemorrhagicum is called luteinization. So what is the function of corpus luteum? Corpus luteum is formed to secrete a major hormone, that is progesterone hormone. So progesterone hormone is synthesized from the corpus luteum along with estrogen and inhibin. Estrogen and inhibin are synthesized in moderate amount and progesterone is synthesized in high amount. So why the progesterone is secreted in high amount here after ovulation? Because after ovulation, you see here, simultaneously when the corpus luteum is forming, what is happening inside the fallopian tube? Soon after, the secondary oocyte is released into the fallopian tube. With the help of cilia, it reaches the ampulla and it waits for the male gametes to come or sperms to come. And if within 24 hours, because the duration of the secondary oocyte or the lifespan of secondary oocyte is 24 hours. In few circumstances, it may extend up to 48 hours, but normally the lifespan of secondary oocyte is of 24 hours. So the secondary oocyte is now inside the ampulla, and if the sperms come within 24 hours of ovulation, then fertilization occurs here. So if fertilization will occur, then zygote will form. If zygote formation occurs, then zygote will develop into a structure like this, which is called blastocyst or blastula. This is the pre-embryonic structure. This is the pre-embryonic structure. So in every month, that means during every reproductive cycle, the uterine endometrium prepares itself, or there is preparation of all the reproductive organs for pregnancy. If pregnancy occurs, fertilization occurs and pregnancy occurs, then the changes become prominent and more types of changes occur in the reproductive organs. If fertilization does not occur in every month, then what happens? All the changes inside the ovaries and in the uterus here are aborted. So suppose here you only think that the progesterone helps in the maintenance of the endometrial wall, the uterine endometrial wall for pregnancy, because if fertilization will occur, then zygote formation occurs, and zygote after certain developmental stages is converted to this pre-embryonic structure, and this is going to implanted inside the endometrial wall. And for that implantation, the endometrial wall should reach its maximum thickness for complete burial of that blastocyst. So for pregnancy to begin, what happens? The blastocyst, if formed, has to completely implant itself or bury itself inside the uterine endometrium, and for that complete burial, the uterine endometrium should reach its maximum thickness by proliferating the endometrial cells. Proliferating means multiplicating the endometrial cells as well as the blood vessels and the endometrial glands. And progesterone hormone is going to help in that proliferation. So that is why progesterone is the major important hormone during pregnancy, and that is why it is also called pregnancy hormone. So here now progesterone is secreted but on a temporary basis. So progesterone help, let us summarize, progesterone helps in the maintenance of uterine endometrium, and usually implantation like this, implantation occurs after 7 days of ovulation, about 7 days after ovulation, that is on the day of 21st after ovulation. So you can see maximum thickness of uterine endometrium on the day of 21st or 22nd or 23rd. So this is all about the function of progesterone hormone. So if fertilization does not occur, we have discussed that if fertilization occurs, then what will happen? So So progesterone secretion continues, implantation has occurred, that means pregnancy will begin. So after the beginning of pregnancy, pregnancy continues, and until the end of pregnancy, the corpus luteum remains intact inside the ovary secreting progesterone hormone. And if fertilization does not occur, then what will happen? This corpus luteum degenerates. After 23rd or 24th day, it starts degenerating, and that degeneration process is called luteolysis. Luteolysis. Lysis means breakdown. So luteal cells break, or there is degeneration of the luteal cells, and there is deposition of fibrous tissue, especially the collagen fibers. Due to deposition of high amount of collagen fibers, this mass appears red. So gradually the corpus luteum turns to a white color scar mark, that is called corpus albicans. This is called corpus albicans, which is white in color due to the presence of high amount of collagen fibers. So let us summarize. Soon after ovulation, the ruptured wall is closed and it is filled with blood. Now the mass is called corpus hemorrhagicum. After luteinization, that means during this process there is proliferation of granulosa cells, deposition of carotenoids, and especially the yellow color protein pigment which is called lutein inside the granulosa and thecal cells. Now the cells of this body are called luteal cells, and the whole mass is called corpus luteum, which acts as temporary endocrine gland. And the process of formation of this corpus luteum is called luteinization. And if fertilization occurs, then what happens? So this is the answer to yes. If fertilization occurs, then what happens? Zygote is formed. Then from zygote, this pre-embryonic structure is formed, and the progesterone hormone secreted by the corpus luteum prepares the uterine endometrium for implantation. I have shown the process of implantation in this diagram. So this is how the implantation occurs. The blastocyst is completely buried inside the endometrium. So progesterone hormone helps in the preparation of the uterine endometrium. Again, if fertilization does not occur, then what will happen? By the process of luteolysis, the luteal cells will degenerate and they are converted to corpus albicans. So this is all about the corpus luteum.